Hey, hello everybody. I'm just gonna wait and see we're all here. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Karen. I am from the Happy Co, and today I'm going to be talking about your chakras. So, how to balance your chakras and really tune into when we are connected to our energetic body, we can feel such great shifts and amplify our life. So amplify the health and the happiness and the abundance. So if you are listening, if you're tuned in live, maybe in the chat box you can let me know where you are tuning in from. And of course, if there are any questions along the way, please pop them in the chat or in the Q&A box. And the structure of today is I'm going to share my screen in a second. We're going to just go through a little bit of a slideshow so that I can share with you what the chakras are, go through the 7 main chakras that we work with. So I'm a Reiki practitioner. So in Reiki, we really do focus in on those 7 main chakras in the body, though there are many, many more hand chakras and feet chakras and soul star, earth star chakras. So, but we're going to focus on the 7 main ones today. And then hopefully if there's some time we can do a beautiful chakra meditation together at the end, of course, and look at any of your questions. So I am just going to check the chat. There's nothing in there. So I'm just going to keep going. Let me share my screen. I'll just be a second while I get everything up. Amazing. Okay, so yes, welcome to Balance Your Chakras and Amplify Your Life. This is going to be a really, I guess, a basic introduction to what are the chakras and how can you actually use this knowledge in a way that's going to help you amplify the intentions in your life. So feel more balanced, feel more grounded, more confident, have that sense of clarity in what you're doing, your passion, your purpose, and being able to move through daily actions that really are going to help you feel in that complete alignment with yourself. I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of a tech moment. Sorry, 1 second. Oh no, that's right. It's okay. So yeah, so today we're going to learn how to rebalance your chakras, and I'm a Capricorn with a Virgo moon, so I'm very, very practical. So I want to give you tips that you can actually take away, and if there's anything that you see on the screen, you might be able to do like a screenshot to keep it, and that might just be another way that you can look back. What I generally find is when I'm working with clients, there'll be 1 or 2 chakras that will be a little bit imbalanced, maybe blocked. Sometimes I don't like to use that word because it freaks people out a bit, but it just means that the energy is not moving through. So we really want to, Reiki can really help to move energy through and open the chakras, but then it's the work that you do energetically, physically, mindset, emotional work that you can do to help continue to move that energy through you and let the energy really flow so those chakras are spinning happily. But I want to give you practical tips today so that you can move away after this session knowing maybe which of the chakras you want to focus on and having a clear direction on how you might do that too. Okay, so what are the chakras? Our chakras are energy centers in our body. So you might have heard of the word chi. In Reiki, the Japanese word is ki. It means that flow of energy, okay, and it moves through our body. So healthy and balanced chakras are likened to spinning wheels that are constantly in motion. And I like to think of our chakras almost like filtration systems for our body. So we have experiences, and it might be that let's use the example of meeting up with a friend, okay, or a group of friends. We go out for dinner, we have some drinks, it's a really lovely night, and we just feel this sense of being so happy, and our energy is like, it's risen, and we feel lifted and we feel joyful because we've been having these conversations with people that we love and people that we get along with, and it just feels really nice. And so what's happening is those conversations, those interactions, they're really filling your cup. And so they're helping that energy to flow through, and it just feels so nice, and you're really receiving a beautiful kind of energy. On the other hand, it might be, say, that you go to work and you have a difficult boss, or there's maybe a colleague that you might not necessarily see eye to eye with, and you just kind of get a sense that any interaction that you have with them, it feels like maybe it drains you a little. You feel tired afterwards, or maybe you feel anxious, and so that kind of energy, is that's coming in or that you're experiencing isn't necessarily helping you to feel your best and brightest. And so we need to just be able to tune in on an energetic level in terms of, when are there times that I'm feeling my best, feeling in alignment, feeling like I'm receiving and being able to give a really beautiful energy? Or where are there situations where I'm not feeling in alignment, or I'm not feeling my best, or maybe I can't speak up for myself, or I can't say what I need to say, or I feel diminished, or I feel criticized? Because those experiences, that stress, that anxiety, and just the general busyness of our life, they're the things that are going to start to block our chakras. And that means that the energy can't move through so easily, okay? And those blocked chakras, or if there's one, two, or several, they can then often lead to illness, to more stress, to greater anxiety, to depression. Or it could be that you start to really see physical ailments really coming through in your body. So that dis-ease in your body. And as we go through the chakras, you'll begin to see that, you might see in the diagram on the screen, that each of the chakras is actually, it's connected to a part of the body. And so oftentimes when we start to see some kind of physical symptom, we can actually link it back to a chakra and get to the deeper emotional reason as to why it's presenting that way. Physical illness, dis-ease, is the way that the body can talk to us. It's the way that the body can tell us when something is out of alignment, when we are not balanced and in that alignment that helps us feel so good. And so it's, generally the signs are really subtle. But if you're anything like me, and 99% of the population, what's going to happen is we probably disregard those subtle signs and we push ourselves. And that's why things lead to anxiety, to burnout, to all sorts of health conditions, So it's almost like we need to start tuning in to be able to listen to what our body is telling us, and energetically, and that deeper emotional reasons, we can start to unlock why it might be presenting and start to actually release that, okay? So as the energy moves through us, as we start to become more conscious and mindful, we're actually going to be able to heal the physical, because we're actually looking at those deeper emotional reasons as to why the block is even there. Okay, so I really, really love these mantras for our chakras. So if we have a look at them, they're colored, and these are the colors that are likened to each chakra. So the root chakra, or the base chakra, is the first one at the base of the spine, and it's the one that's colored red. And the mantra for our base chakra is I am, and it's where we feel grounded and centered. And I'm actually just going to go into each of them really quickly, and then go into each of the chakras in a little bit more depth for you. Okay, so the first chakra is the root chakra, also called the base chakra, located at the very base of the spine. The next chakra, so the second chakra, is our sacral chakra, and the mantra is I feel, because our second chakra, located just below the belly button, has to do with our emotions, and being able to regulate our emotions in relationships and with ourselves. And that's really connected to a sense of feeling, worthy, and having that sense of being able to give and receive, but really receive. It's interesting, I'll talk more about this when I talk about the sacral chakra, but many people hold on to guilt and feelings of not being worthy, and therefore you can then bring upon dis-ease in that part of the body. So anyway, we'll dive into that a little bit more later. The third chakra is the solar plexus chakra, and this chakra is located in the stomach, okay? And our solar plexus is I do. It's our purpose, it's our identity, it's our confidence and self-esteem. And so it's very much in that, because it's fire element, it's that taking the action and showing up for yourself, and taking the actions that are going to see those results to help you begin to manifest. Now, the lower three chakras chakras, the base, the sacral, and the solar plexus, are our physical chakras. And when I refer to them as the lower chakras, not lower is as in not as good. All chakras are beautiful and equal, but in terms of lower in the body, okay? And so they are very much to do with our physical realm, okay? So everything that we see, taste, touch, the experiences, the people in our life, our career, our work, our homes, our families, that's, a lot of that energy is tied in with those three chakras. The heart chakra is located in the heart, right here in the center of our chest, and it's the bridge between the lower chakras and the higher chakras. So here in our heart is love, it's compassion, it's forgiveness, but we're starting to get into, I guess, some of the less tangible things and moving into more of the feeling and the knowing, okay? In saying that, in our solar plexus, we do have that gut instinct, but very much, the lower chakras have to do with that physical. As we move up to the throat chakra, okay, this is located right here in the throat, and it's our ability to speak our truth, to be authentic in what we say, not only aloud, but also to ourselves, because so many of my clients, and even myself, the work that we do on our journey of connecting to our truth and really healing those parts of ourselves that need healing so we can up level. It's about speaking to ourselves more kindly. It's about being able to have that confidence and that strength to express ourselves authentically in the world. Okay, then the next chakra here, the sixth chakra, is our third eye chakra, and this is the chakra of our intuition. So our ability to, it's connected to psychic ability, but you don't need to be psychic. It's just more being able to tune in to that sense of seeing and knowing what could be, and having, I like to call it, having that vision for your life, not needing your life to be mapped out and it have to go exactly that way, but being able to hold that space for yourself to dream. And then finally, our crown chakra, located at the crown of the head, our seventh chakra that we're talking about today, is that oneness, that connection with something greater. Whether you call it God, Source, Universe, Allah, it doesn't matter what you call it, but if you have a faith and a sense of belief in this universal consciousness, this consciousness that runs through each and every one of us, all living things, everything in the universe and on the planet. It's like something that we might not be able to tangibly explain or see, but it's something that we just feel and know, and we have this deep sense of trust. It's when all of our chakras are balanced that we are able to move towards that, much desired enlightenment. And so but in our modern day world, in our lives, things are going to happen. We're going to have experiences with people. We're going to have things that happen in our day. We're going to have challenges on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a mental level. And all it is, it's about tuning in and having that ability to connect to yourself, to really come back and tune into your own energy and know, what is it that I need right now? A question that I ask myself a lot is, what's working and what's not? And just journaling about that, like trying to really hone in on what is it that's working for me, that's helping me feel expansive, that's helping me feel really connected, healthy and happy, and what are the things that are making me, bringing my energy down or making me feel contracted as opposed to expansive. So just really allowing yourself to tune into that, so that if at any moment you start to notice that something's coming out of balance, you collect along your journey these tools and these tips and tricks that help you come back to that alignment. Okay, so I'm just going to check if there are any questions or anything before I keep going. I do apologize if I've missed anything. No, okay. We might save them to the end, and I'm just going to keep the PowerPoint going. But please do, if you have any questions, make sure that you pop them in the chat. Okay, so chakra number 1, base chakra. So I mentioned it's here, the red one. It's safety, security, survival, grounding, and stability. Okay, so it is likened to the color red, and I really love to use some color therapy when I am working with clients or working with my own self in terms of being able to really connect to a particular chakra. So one of my actual favorite tips is to wear red lipstick. Okay, so there's nothing like putting on a red lip. It just gives you this sense of like strength and power. That might not work for you, but I know that for lots of women it does, and I know that for me it does. And so it's just a way of starting to bring in that consciousness, isn't it? That connection with yourself, and being able to just find really fun ways, really easy, realistic ways that you can start to go, I'm connecting with my base today. So for our base chakra, because it's located right in the base of our spine, it's very much connected to spine, legs, so just those larger parts of our physical body. And it is connected also to the earth element. So we want to feel that sense of grounding, to feel supported. Obviously now is a time where so many of our structures, so many of the things that we have become accustomed to have fallen away. Some people are quarantined, countries are shut down, businesses are closed, people are working from home when they wouldn't normally be. The whole world has really lost its sense of foundation. But what's happening is things need to fall away sometimes in order for that new level, that new up leveling to occur. So if right now, May of 2020, we're moving through COVID-19. If you are listening to this now and you're feeling that sense of, you feel uncertain, you don't feel safe, you're just not sure if your physical needs are going to be met, and you're feeling anxious and scared and fearful, that's completely normal, because everything that the base chakra, I guess what really nourishes the base is having a sense of safety and security. And so when that known is no longer there, or feels like it's been taken away, or it just feels like something's shifting, that can be unsettling. So what we can do is, when we can tune in and know, oh, I'm feeling really anxious, I'm feeling quite fearful, and maybe your sleep has been affected, it's time to get back in your body. Or if you notice that you're just so in your head, if your thoughts are spiraling, if you just you can't seem to switch off, then that's also an indication that the base chakra is out of balance. So because it is very much around the physical, it means that by taking physical actions, you can actually come back into your body, so you can get yourself out of your head. So physical exercise is a really, really great tip, and something that I would highly recommend every single day in some capacity. Now, finding a way to move your body, a way that you can connect to your body, is so important. I myself have tried all sorts of things that I should do, like should go to the gym and I should run, but those things didn't actually work for my body. What I found is walking is amazing. I love to do Pilates and yoga, but they don't necessarily need to be the things that you do. All I'm saying is that if you're too in your head, if you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, and you feel like you need that sense of grounding, then finding a way, any way that you can get back into your body, is going to be really helpful and really nourishing for you. So find something that gets you moving. If you can go outdoors and do it, then even better, like plant your feet on the earth. That's why I think walking is one of those things that's so easy. You don't need to be the fittest person in the world. Anyone can walk. You don't have to walk anywhere special. You can walk around the block. You don't necessarily, if you can, go to the beach or to a park or something, great, but otherwise just walking in the street. I always like to pop in my earbuds and listen to a podcast. So I like to multitask as well. But I feel as though, getting some fresh air, getting outside in nature, moving your body to some way, building up a bit of a sweat, helps you to really move that energy through, that chi, all the way through your body. And you'll find that when you're working out, when you're moving your body, when you're doing some kind of movement, even if it's a beautiful yoga class, just feeling that sense of connection to you and your breath is going to be so helpful in tuning into what it is that you need. Another thing that I would say this for absolutely every one of the chakras, I don't think I typed it in for everyone, but meditation. It's like my number one go to, it always is the thing that brings you back to you, because we can be so focused on the external, and it's important that we come back, because the only way we're going to heal ourselves, the only way we're going to be able to know what it is intuitively, what we need, is to connect with our breath, with our body, with our heart, and with our spirit. We need to be able to have that space to be able to give ourselves what we need. And how will we know what we need unless we stop, pause, and listen? Yeah. So I would say meditation, any form of meditation. I do a Learn to Meditate course, and I break it right down to beginners, make it super, super practical. A lot of people like to use apps. You can just figure out, like when I was learning to meditate, I began at a Buddhist meditation class, and I absolutely loved it. It taught me so, so much. But then when I did my meditation teacher training, I discovered all these different other forms of meditation. You know, and I think that it's just a matter of experimenting, trying different ones on apps. I'll give you my details at the end. They'll be linked below. I have a whole bunch of free meditations on my podcast, and even on my website that you can download. So there's all sorts of different things that you can try. And I think that rather than trying to be overwhelmed by it, just pick one thing. Think, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to sit down and observe my breath, or I'm going to do a mantra meditation where I choose a word and I just say that word, breathe it in and breathe it out. Or I'm going to do a body scan meditation, and just choose one and trust that whichever one you find is the one you need to start with that was meant for you, and then let your journey evolve from there. If you're a seasoned meditator, and then, you know, like all of us, we get out of habits. When you start to feel that ungroundedness, when you're too in your head and not in your body, it's just a message that you need to come back to practice. Decluttering your home is a great one, because the base chakra is so connected to our physical world. It's really important that, you know, the space around us can help us feel good, feel safe, feel expansive. There's nothing worse than maybe, I don't know, walking in your house and there's stuff everywhere, because if your physical environment is cluttered, no doubt that your mind is going to feel really cluttered too. So one of the things that I often do is I will, you know, choose to declutter a space in my home, and just try and just make some more space. You know, I live quite minimally anyway, and I've done that on purpose, because over the last couple of years, I've really wanted to minimize distraction. I've wanted to minimize how much is around me, so that I can really just have beautiful things that bring me joy around me, and that is really beautiful for your energy. So if there's anything that is like messy in your house, and every time you see it, it just irritates you, or it makes you feel like unhappy, then fix it. Like, take the action, but know that your physical space is a reflection of your internal space. So creating space, I've mentioned that in the document. So can you give yourself 5 minutes in the morning to tune into your energy? 10 minutes to exercise? Can you just create space for yourself in your schedule, so that you can actually give yourself the time to give yourself what you need to tune in to what it is that you need? So mark it out in your diary and set aside, like figure out, you know, the first week of my Learn to Meditate course, for example, I say to the people, experiment with this form of meditation, but you try it. You figure out how long, figure out when and where. It has to work for you. Also, creating a space where you can have that peace and that time to connect with yourself. So is there a chair in your home, or a space in your home where you can maybe, you know, make it really beautiful and make it a space that you can easily access? Spend time out in nature. Go to the beach, go out to parks, go for, you know, hikes. Like, the nature is such a beautiful healer. There's nothing like putting bare feet on the grass when you're hanging out your washing on the line. Like, find ways. Like, I love to sit outside and eat my lunch just on my porch. So you don't need to be necessarily out in the jungle. You just can outside and feel that sun on your face and the breeze on your skin. You know, they are going to be really beautiful ways to ground you. And then the other thing that you can do is, so color therapy, we can add red to, say, your wardrobe, or put something like a red quote up on the wall or something, so you can also just bring in that red color. But also you can think of like red foods or grounding foods like sweet potato and stews and dals. Like they're those really comforting kind of foods, and so they're going to be really comforting for your base as well. Okay, sacral chakra. Oh, I've just had a question pop up. I wonder if I can see that. Sorry guys, I'm learning all the technical. I'm going to have to come back to that because I don't think I'll be able to come back in. So sacral chakra, this is our second chakra, and it's located just below the belly button. Okay, this is our pleasure center, joy, sensuality, sexuality, our creativity. It's where we hold all of our emotions, and it also is very much to do with our relationships, not only our relationships with others but our relationship with ourselves. This chakra is color orange, and it's connected to the water element. So, and the water element teaches us here about our ability to move with more flow. So very much tapping into a yin energy, as opposed to the base chakra, which was more of a yang, physical, like doing things. So when we speak of yin, when we speak of water, moving with the flow, I often tell my clients we don't want to be too watery, because too watery means we might be like too airy and not take any action. We want that beautiful balance between action and then allowing. So releasing resistance, releasing fear, and going with the flow, but also knowing where we actually want to channel that flow when we get into it. Or allow where we could possibly allow it to go. So exploring your creativity. So really connecting with things that help you feel like you're creating, you're making. For me, that's making beautiful spaces in my home. It's playing with clay. It's listening to music. I love to just draw, and I love to create lots of things for my business. So I have lots of ways that I can express my creativity. Now, how we express our creativity is not just, I think sometimes we think it's just art and painting, and I have to play an instrument, or I have to be able to paint some beautiful masterpiece. And while that is most definitely a part of creativity, it's not the only form of creativity. Things like writing beautiful cards, or the way that you put outfits together. They're all different ways that you can express your creativity. So just really tune into what are the ways that you can express yourself. You can have fun. We don't need to turn everything that we do, we don't need to monetize it. It doesn't have to become a side hustle or a business. It can just be something that we do for pure joy. Cycling, hiking, making things. I love blending like essential oil rollers and gifting them to people. There's just so many ways that we can express ourselves. So don't feel like you have to be limited, but know that when you allow yourself to create whatever that might be, it's so beautiful for your energy. So music, hobbies, so just exploring things that, bring you lots and lots of joy. Releasing guilt. Guilt is an emotion that is often stored in the sacral chakra. It's almost like we feel really comfortable giving, but not as comfortable receiving, and we make ourselves wrong a lot. So that these are like limiting beliefs, subconscious patterns. They're the things that are really leading to that self-sabotage. But even a small example of feeling guilty is I didn't send an email back within a day, or I forgot to text back a friend, or we kind of make ourselves wrong for these really little things, but those really little things add up, and there's a deeper, I guess, emotional reason why we might be self-sabotaging or speaking to ourselves unkindly or criticizing or judging. And so I often say to my clients, it's about releasing guilt. So when you feel yourself making yourself wrong and you start feeling guilty, just stop and say, is this really something I need to feel guilty about? Have I really done something wrong here? And oftentimes you haven't. It's like, I'm going to stop that because I'm worthy of feeling good in this moment. And then there's nothing wrong with giving. Giving is beautiful. So many of us are loving and nurturing, and we want to give, and it really fills our cup to give, but we also have to be able to receive. And so being more comfortable to receive is also going to help balance that energy as well, because we don't want, in life, in everything, we want to try and find some kind of balance. And it doesn't mean that every time I give, I must receive in equal measure and right away. It just means that if you're always giving and never receiving, then you're going to feel depleted and you're going to start feeling really resentful. And so it's just important that you give and receive, not always in equal measure, exactly like, your friend buys you a coffee, you must buy one back. Just realize that, the energetics of the universe is that there's this constant flow of things coming in, things coming out. So you might receive from someone and give to somebody else, and just trust that, but just know that we want there to be some sense of balance. A great way to start receiving really, really simple things is accepting a compliment. So ask yourself right now, how do I receive compliments? If I was to say, oh my gosh, like your hair looks amazing today, or that blog post you wrote was so incredible, it really just touched me. Like, would you be able to go, oh, thank you, and accept it? Or would you go, oh, no, it's nothing? So see if you can start to receive those tiny little things, and that will dial up your sense of worth and being able to receive and really balance that chakra beautifully. Journaling, a really great way to even connect with your emotions, to understand what is it that I'm feeling, what is it I'm holding on to. Journaling gets what is in your head and what is in your heart out on paper so that you can see it, and then you can start to see what's serving you, what you're going to keep, and what is it that you're going to release. Embracing a slower pace. So, I'm one of those people that I'm type A, I'm go, 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 but there's a point where my body starts saying, Karen, you've got to slow down. And that doesn't mean that I need to then do absolutely nothing. It just means that I need to embrace, how can I have moments or time in my day where there's a lot of action and then some stillness, or going a little bit slower, and just being able to, have that flow of both of those energies in your day. Connecting to your femininity is another thing I talked about, even just feeling really sensual. So as women, I think that we can really, be in our yang energy during the day. We're setting goals and we're making things happen. We might be working in a corporate environment, or we might be, launching a business or a new product. And what's happening is you're setting these goals and you're really attaining them, and then you're keeping a household and doing all the things, and you've got the relationships and your family. You're not really allowing yourself to, if you don't allow yourself to switch off and have some kind of end point to work, and then move into, say, your evening at a slower pace, then you kind of bring all of that yang energy in, okay? And so I think it's really important that men or women, what we do is, when the workday is done, we have some kind of ritual that reminds us, that tells us. And by changing clothes into something softer and more comfy can also be energetically really good. So just have a think about how you can connect to your femininity, whether you're, whether you're a male or a female. It doesn't matter the gender as much as both of those energies are within us. So masculine and feminine energy is within us. And so we want to find the balance between the two. And if we've had a work day, for example, and we've been very much in our yang energy, then we want to bring in that yin, that softness and that lightness into the evening. Okay, solar plexus chakra right here in the stomach. So it is connected to self-esteem, willpower, having a sense of self and identity, and really having confidence in yourself. It's the color yellow, and I love to call it our inner sun. Okay, it's our sense of intuition, our gut instinct, but it's when that chakra is balanced, we can really radiate, we can shine our light. Have you ever been told, someone says to you, wow, you're just glowing and you're just shining? And that's when your solar plexus is really balanced. It's healthy, and you are being authentically you. It is the fire element, so it does have that sense of being able to turn things into things, so really make things manifest. And that's not just by thoughts, because we can think it, but we have to bring the action into it to really see it come to life. It is associated with intestine, stomach, liver, digestion. And so it's really common to have some, if you've got an imbalanced solar plexus, to have maybe experienced some digestion issues, some gut health stuff that you're moving through. Because oftentimes when you're like thinking things and you're maybe anxious or fearful or a worrier, you feel that like as butterflies in your tummy, and when you're excited it's the same feeling, isn't it? So so I feel as though when there's a commonality between that as a physical symptom and then that fire almost being burning so bright that maybe it causes some digestive fire. So just asking yourself, how can I set goals that are realistic? Am I taking action? Am I getting caught up in fear and worry, or am I doing the work that allows me to really connect with the person who I am and who I am becoming, and releasing the self-limiting beliefs and the old patterns that don't serve me, so that I can actually see my worth, be optimistic and positive about what I have to offer. Releasing perfectionism. So if you are a perfectionist, put your hand up. It's the way to push past perfectionism. Like, will we ever fully release it? No, I'm a perfectionist. I've been that way my entire life. But I see the pattern, and I can see when I'm getting into that state of like stopping myself from doing something for fear it's not going to be right. And then I can watch that, I can observe that and go, you know what, if I do this, if I set this goal, break it down and push myself in a healthy way, then I show up for myself, and then I build that confidence, and I build, I build that sense of being able to do it. And so then it becomes less of a problem, and I feel, just more confident to try new things. So work on your negative self-talk. Mirror work is a great one. So like looking at yourself in the eyes in the mirror and declaring positive, beautiful affirmations, I am statements, is going to be really helpful for building that self-esteem and that confidence. If you're always used to saying, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I could never do that, whatever, that's going to really drain your energy. Whereas if you're saying things like, I have the ability to do whatever I want, I'm an amazing person, I have so much to offer. Like if you can say things like that to yourself, that's really going to supercharge your energy. Practice being more decisive. So once again, that comes back to bringing that confidence in. So start by making little decisions. What am I going to eat today? What am I going to do for exercise today? What am I going to wear today? And then you can start to, if you always start small with those little things that seem quite insignificant, then you build your decisive muscle, and then you build confidence with yourself to make bigger decisions. Like when I made the decision to, quit my full-time teaching job and follow my passion for health and build a business, like that wasn't something that was easy to do. I had to really build up a lot of resilience and confidence in self-esteem within myself to know that I can make that change. So I would say build your decision-making muscle. And the other thing on a physical level is if you are experiencing anything to do with like your stomach, so gut health issues, digestive, like if you have intolerances, then maybe reducing, if you're not already, reducing like inflammatory foods to aid your digestion is going to be helping on a physical level too. And I would highly, highly recommend finding yourself a naturopath or health practitioner that can help you with like the physical side of things, but then also doing the mindset work, because they're all very integrated. Okay, heart chakra. I'm just going to check the time. 40 minutes. Okay. Heart chakra is all to do with love, compassion, connection, forgiveness. It's what in our heart is where we hold grief and anger and resentment, but we also hold joy and happiness. So the heart chakra is green in color, but sometimes likened to rose, like a rosy pink, like a rose quartz. It's connected to the air element and very much to do with our heart, our lungs, those organs. So what I would say for balancing your heart chakra is show yourself love and kindness. Like speak to yourself kindly, go gently, don't push yourself, trust your intuition, trust that your body is telling you what it needs, that your heart can tell you what it needs, that feeling. Speak loving words. And the hugest even a word, but the biggest tip I would say is forgive yourself, not We don't forgive to let go and condone what somebody did to us or make it right. We just release so that we can release ourselves, because we can't go back in the past and change it. Forgiveness work is the most important work that you can do for your heart chakra, because if you're holding on to old emotions, to past traumas, to fears, if you're holding on to stuff that isn't serving you, then you're not fully allowing yourself to be open to receiving all of the love and abundance of the universe. A beautiful prayer, a Hawaiian healing prayer called Ho'oponopono. It's 4 lines. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I use that prayer in so many different ways, but oftentimes I'll just journal, I'll just write a whole bunch of stuff like, what am I holding in my heart? Release it all onto the page, and then put my one hand on the page, one hand on my heart, and say those 4 words, those 4 lines. And I feel that energetic shift of softening my heart and allowing more love in. Love for others, love for the world, but also we've got to start with the love for ourselves. Give yourself permission to feel. There is nothing wrong with feeling angry or frustrated or crying. Those are emotions. They're human emotions that we are here to experience. And so allow yourself to feel emotions, rather than what normally people do, or a lot of people do, is they feel uncomfortable with it, so they suppress it, and that's when it's going to block the energy in the chakras. What we want to do is we want to allow it to be felt, to move through us, so that we can process that energy, as opposed to holding on to it and then it catching up with us later. You could write yourself a letter, you can do some journaling work, you can do clearing or cleansing rituals. Inner child work is really beautiful as well. Seek support if you're releasing past traumas. And what's a trauma for you? It could be different to what a trauma is for me. Everyone's idea of trauma is different, so that please don't compare or judge it against someone else's experience. Your experience is your own, so give yourself time to feel, give yourself time to process, bring in support if it's needed, and then trust that, yeah, it's going to help you open the energy of your heart. Throat chakra. Wow, I'm doing a lot of talking, aren't I? So throat chakra is all about communication, also creativity and self-expression. I will add, it's about authentic communication. So communicating from a place of truth. You might notice that I talk really, really fast. It's because I start to just channel and it comes through me. And I feel as though when I speak quickly and I'm talking and I'm getting excited, it's because I'm communicating from a place of truth. I'm communicating from a place of, I want to share this, and it's moving through me. And so I wonder how you might be able to allow yourself to express yourself. Do you express yourself through words, through singing, through writing, through art, through photography? Like, there are so many ways that you can express yourself, not only through your throat, but just in the way that you share yourself. So the color is blue, the element is sound, and very much the parts of the body are like head, throat, mouth, neck, thyroid. So this kind of part of the body. So if you've ever had like a sore throat, or you feel like you're not being choked, but there's like a really tightness or a constriction right before you're about to give a speech or ask for something, it might be that you feel a level of like discomfort there. And so that's why that part of the body is just presenting. And so it's about asking yourself, am I speaking authentically here? And if I am, then it's okay for me to ask for what I need, to declare what I desire. Maybe if that feels uncomfortable, I'm going to do the work to make it feel more comfortable. Share your voice in a way that feels authentic to you. Speak up for what you believe. Mind your language. This is a really big one. Some of the things that we say, or many of the things that we say to ourselves, whether we say them in our head or aloud, we would never say to our best friend or our mum or a family member. We criticize and we judge ourselves, and sometimes we don't even realize that negative self-talk. And so, something I talk about a lot is, how can I tune into becoming more aware of the words that I'm speaking, so that I can start to change it. Because I need to speak a lot more kinder to myself. I need to speak kind, beautiful, nourishing words to myself, to not only balance the throat chakra, but to balance myself in general, to help me feel a sense of joy and happiness and connection to me, because I won't want to be connected to myself if I'm only berating myself or criticizing. So I would say start to become observant of what you say to yourself when you make a mistake, or when you're about to try something different, or just tune in. There's so many different ways, that different times in the day that we're talking to ourselves. Maybe you got up late and you're like, oh, I've wasted the day and I haven't done this, and and you are stuffed up, or this, or you say things like that. Like, there's no need to beat yourself up. It's about, how can I choose kinder words? And that's a really throat chakra, a good reminder for the throat chakra. So become conscious of the limiting words, phrases, or beliefs that you are saying, and commit to changing to more positive language. I was only saying this to a client the other day. So I said, you'll find that you kind of say the same phrases, and you might not be able to notice, but if you were to ask somebody that you spend a lot of time with, they'll be like, oh yeah, you say that all the time. And you're like, really? So she was saying to me, I find myself saying, well, we were talking about this, and then she's like, oh my gosh, she had this aha moment. I find myself saying, I'm so stressed about work. I'm so stressed about work. I'm so stressed about uni. I'm so stressed about uni. And of course, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Because she's saying that she's stressed about uni. She is stressed. And so it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go from I'm so stressed about uni to uni is so easy for me, because you won't really believe that. But what you want to do is change the energetics of the language. So it could be, I'm so stressed about uni, could be, I'm becoming more used to the challenge of uni. I like the way that uni is challenging my mind in ways that it wasn't before. See how it's just a slight, it's quite subtle, but we're changing, we're shifting the energy. We're not saying that uni is easy and that we don't deserve to feel like it's a bit hard or it's a challenge, but we're just kind of changing that challenge into language that helps us feel like we're growing. So yeah, mind your language, I would say, and see if you can just shift it very slightly. Okay, third eye chakra is all to do with our intuition, our imagination, our vision. It's being able to just, in meditation, through your spiritual practices, visualize and let yourself dream. So how are you creating time to connect to your intuition? Like, oftentimes we ask for signs, symbols. The universe can talk to us through, beautiful signs like a feather, or an animal, or I see angel numbers a lot, which are repetitive numbers. And we want to be able to tune in, and a really great way to tune in is through meditation. So creating that space to connect, so that we can start to even allow ourselves to close our eyes and see what it is that we desire. A really easy way that I started to connect to my intuition was through meditation, but also through oracle cards. So just shuffling cards, dealing a card, and then reading the card, and almost asking myself, what is it that resonates for me in this message, and really tuning into what it is that my own inner knowing was trying to share with me. So do you allow yourself to dream? Do you allow yourself to see a bigger vision? If you want to balance your third eye, I would say meditation, spiritual practices that, work for you. That could be journaling or chanting or mantras, oracle cards, tarot, doing healing work. So many beautiful things, and also that visualization. And then finally, just moving into the crown chakra, the final chakra. This is that chakra of enlightenment, of consciousness. It's almost like where our ultimate goal, is to find this sense, this gateway to feeling a deep, deep sense of faith and trust. And how do we do that? Well, we need to show up for ourselves. We need to create practices, be that 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. It doesn't matter. You have to figure out how it's going to work for you in your schedule, in your day, but you need to make the time. It's going to be very, very hard to reach enlightenment, to connect with your intuition, to see a bigger vision for your life and feel that sense of connection to something greater if you're always busy racing around and you never give yourself that space to actually, drop in and be there. So when our crown is balanced, there's a balance within all of the chakras. There's this sense of balance between the head and the heart, balance between what's real and imagined, balance between our physical and our spiritual worlds. And so it's just connecting to practices that really help you feel that connection. And, you know, often that can be meditation, it can be prayer, it can be asking for signs, it can be, there's lots of ways, but I would just say my one tip here, I guess, would be the only way you're going to be able to establish that connection and grow and nurture that relationship to, you know, to knowing that you have that deep sense of faith and trust in why we're here and what we're doing, and this incredible life that we're all here to live. It comes from having a practice that connects to yourself first and foremost. Okay, so 5:53. Wow, I've gone over time. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I'm going to move through this. So these were the beautiful mantras. So I am, I feel, I do, I love, I speak, I see, and I understand. And I'm going to just check the Q&A, because then that way, if anyone's got some questions, I can answer them before I log off. Very, very quickly though, this is my Facebook, my Instagram, The Happy Co, and my website's thehappyco.com.au if you want to find out a little bit more about what I do. But I'm going to jump into the Q&A. Okay, let's see. Most of the time, I'm good at making decisions and going with my gut. However, sometimes I'm just really lost or torn in my decision. There's certain chakras that we can tuned into, or rituals. Thanks, Karen. Amazing. Thanks, Ella, for that question. So I would say that is a solar plexus. Okay, so go back. This recording will be on the Mind Medicine YouTube, so you could always go back and check in, or you can just Google like solar plexus and come back to what we spoke about. But it's very much about if you feel lost or torn, you just have to connect with what is it that your intuition is telling you. So oftentimes it's like, you know, and you've got the right answer, or you know the feeling, and then your head kicks in and it starts to go through all the fear stories. So what I like to do is, if I'm making a decision and I have the feeling, but then my head starts to try and take over the ego mind, write down like, why am I scared about this decision, or all the things that could go wrong with this decision. Like, write it out, like go to the dark side, and then you'll be able to actually get all of those fears out, and then you'll go, you know what, that won't happen, or very, very slim chance of that happening. And you kind of be able to start to call yourself out on the things that are like limiting, as opposed to really important parts of the decision. I hope that makes sense. So I would, do solar plexus work. Actually, on my podcast, have an episode all about being a better decision maker. So tune into that, the Happy Co podcast. It's on iTunes. So have a look at that. But definitely solar plexus is where you're working. Okay. I hope that. I think that was the only one I can see here, but I wonder if there's anything else that is a question. Oh, I've got someone tuning in from Bar Beach, which was just down the road. Amazing. Thanks, Florence. Are there any other questions, guys, before we might do like even just a 1-minute meditation together before I log off, because I can't see any more questions, but there might be some a little later. So let's, why don't we just close our eyes for a moment. Take a few deeper breaths and allow yourself to land into your body. If you're sitting in a chair, so feeling that connection of your base, the base of your spine to the chair or the bed, or if you're laying down, maybe just feeling that deep connection to the earth. And just breathing in beautifully. Tuning into the base chakra and feeling a sense of safety and security. Just here where you are in this present moment. You feel grounded and centered. And take a deep breath in here and then breathe out. And just feel yourself grounded and connected in this moment. I want you to now bring your attention up to your heart. And it might feel nice to put your hands on your heart. And it's here that I want you to receive the energy and the intention of this session, the love and the guidance that has come through for all of us. So as we take a few deeper breaths here, we'll allow ourselves to receive this beautiful energy. And then finally, I want you to move your attention to your third eye. And I want you to give yourself permission to see a big, big dream. A dream, a big desire, something that excites you, and just see an image or a movie playing before you. And just see it. And what I want you to do is really dial up the colors, bring that picture closer to you, maybe even step into it and just feel yourself living that dream, that vision, whatever it is. Just see yourself, feel yourself in it, just for 10 seconds. And feel your energy really rise. Feel how, really dial up that sense of how real it could be. Because if you dream it, and if you take the actions, it can all be yours. Beautiful. And then releasing your attention and simply just connecting back to your breath, to this moment. And noticing how calm and settled and grounded you feel. And this feeling can always be achieved by simply taking a moment to pause and to be with yourself. Okay. Opening your eyes when you are ready. Thank you, everybody. If there are no other questions, then thank you so, so much for being here today. I hope that that session was helpful for you in understanding a little bit more about the chakras, practical tips for how you can tune into